My hand was hurt at the Tourney at Eltham upon Wednesday last. I would you had been there and seen it, for this was the goodliest sight that was seen in England this 40 years. So wrote Joh Paston in 1467 to his brother. Active at court, Sir John was regarded as one of the best men of arms of his time, and at the great tournament he was chosen to be one of the 4 members of the King's side to take on a team led by the King's best friend, Lord Hastings. Such tournaments included trials of strength and skill with various weapons of the time, mainly lances, swords and axes. The intention was to put on a show of grandeur and colour, and to fight until one or the other clearly had an advantage. In earlier medieval times, tournaments had been much rougher affairs, but they had gradually become occasions for display and pageantry. A castle, such as that of the Duke of Norfolk's at Framlingham, would have had a tilt yard, part of a field laid out to practice the skills of jousting and to hold tournaments on various grand occasions. Today we may see recreations of medieval jousts at special events. Here we are with the Devil's Horsemen at Cromer Carnival. They have begun at the quintain, a device with a small shield that they can use to practice their aim. As they gallop around the arena, they have to keep themselves firmly in the saddle, as well as focusing the blunted point of their lance on the target. And if they are successful, the quintain spins round and a hit is recorded. The skills needed for the joust had come from those needed by knights in armour in warfare, though when actually in battle, the lance would have been pointed with the aim to injure or kill your enemy. For jousting there was no intention to kill, but just to score points, and perhaps knock your opponent off his horse. Sometime in the 14th century a barrier was introduced, the knights riding down opposite sides. This meant that the riders would not collide, and they were at a better angle to break each other's lance, for breaking your opponent's lance would win you that charge. Around the arena would have been the tents of the various competitors. No doubt at times tempers became frayed, as is depicted here. Fighting with quarterstaffs was another way of contesting in medieval times. As footballers and other sportsmen and women are favoured today, so were the knights of a joust. The ornamental cloth for the horse, with the rider's heraldic signs, is called a caparison. Losing your lance might mean fighting with the great swords of the time, on horseback or whilst on foot. Doing this would have soon worn out the competitors. And knocking your adversary over with a battle axe was another way of showing your ability. Our thanks then to the Devil's Horsemen for the chance to film them in action. They provide horses and horsemen and women to be riding doubles in many films and television programmes, such as Game of Thrones. Watch out to see if they are putting on a jousting tournament somewhere near you. No wonder Sir Joh Paston told his brother what an exciting occasion the royal tournament had been,